Hey, welcome in to Mornings on Main Street, Southern Middle Tennessee. It's the show that looks at Giles, Lawrence, and Maury counties, all from the pages of your local newspapers. I'm Scott Stewart. I'm the publisher of your local newspapers. That would be Main Street Maury, Pulaski Citizen, and the Lawrence County Advocate. We'd love to get you a copy of your local newspaper each and every week in your mailbox or on your computer screen. Here's how you can get a subscription started. Call 931-363-3544. Call 615-452-4940 or 931-762-1726. All of those numbers, any of those numbers for any of our papers. Obviously, people can recognize some of their own area numbers, so you feel free to call those or any other. Also, you can visit PulaskiCitizen.com, MainStreetMaury.com, or LawrenceCountyAdvocate.net to find out everything that you need to know about getting a subscription online or traditional. Now, let's get this week's weekly wrap-ups going with Main Street Maury.
Hello, I'm Main Street Maury reporter Andrew Pearson here with last week's news. First off, the City of Columbia paid tribute to several very accomplished youth at their monthly meeting. They first honored the Columbia Central cheerleading team for winning first place in the national championships. We'll hear directly from that team's captains and coach next week in our Main Street Maury A pages. The council also recognized Kelsey Judd, who was made Youth of the Year for the Regional Boys and Girls Club, and Lady Vols outfielder Savia Morgan, a Columbia native who made a softball catch last Wednesday night that made the national news. The U.S. Tennis Association has backed out of sponsoring the Legacy Point development in Spring Hill. Apparently times are tough for fundraising, and the USTA just couldn't find the money to contribute to the tennis facilities that were planned for the project. There appear to be no hard feelings on any side from them, the developer, or the city, and other entities seem interested in investing in Legacy Point in their place. Last week, Columbia dedicated a historic marker to the Female Institute that used to stand on West 7th Street. The visually impressive building was an Episcopalian girls' school for almost 100 years and served several purposes afterwards until it burned down in 1959. You wonder what West 7th would feel like today if there were a Gothic brick castle standing there instead of a food land and a bleached-out parking lot. Finally, the United Auto Workers Local 1853 have ratified their first agreement with the Ultium Cells factory. The agreement obliges Ultium to cover the health care costs of union workers in the battery plant, where workers wear hazmat suits to handle highly toxic and flammable powdered chemicals. Workers and union reps praised the deal as a great accomplishment for people at the plant and for labor relations at large. On the other pages, the Columbia Little Bella's Bike Club will resume getting preteen girls out into nature on April 13th at Chickasaw Trace Park. Bernard and Molly Porter invited people to tour their historic mansion on West 6th Street on Sunday afternoon. Columbia Power and Water touts its status as one of the best regional utilities at preventing water loss. And the Muletown Trolley will stop running routes in May and will instead operate by demand like SCATS does. That's all the news for this week in our A pages. Let's go to sports with Maurice Patton.
Hey, I'm Maurice Patton, sports editor at Main Street Maury. Hey, you got to love the overlap here in sports, and that's where we're at this time of year because in the March 19th print edition of Main Street Maury, we've got a lot of basketball coverage. We got a lot of spring sports going on. Let's start with basketball as Santa Fe got back to the boys basketball state tournament for the second year in a row with a big sectional win at home against McEwen. Meanwhile, Independence did likewise. The defending Class 4A state champions Downing Beach to get back to Murfreesboro for the third straight year. And again, the Eagles trying to defend their 4A state championship. The Wildcats trying to improve on their Class 1A state semifinal finish last year. So both of them will be in action over at Middle Tennessee State's Murphy Center this week. We will have coverage of all of that on the website at mainstreetmaury.com. But again, you can go back and check the print edition this week for their sectional play from last week. We've also got the Columbia State Community College Chargers. Speaking of tournament play, they won their state tournament down in Memphis, and they are headed to the NJCAA Nationals out at Hutchinson, Kansas. They will begin play this weekend. Saturday specifically, we've got coverage of what they did, what they've got coming up. So be sure and see that in the print edition of Main Street Maury as well. Again, spring sports. Columbia Central's Burton Moore with a big performance last week, both on the mound and at the plate. Check him out in our print edition. We've also got coverage of Zion Christian in their softball invitational, more like a round robin, but a lot of good softball taking place over the weekend over at Zion Christian. Be sure and check that out. We've got brackets for both the Class 1A and the Class 4A state tournaments that, again, are coming up this week starting on Wednesday. You can follow Santa Fe and Independence through those brackets. We've also got this week's Williamson County girls flag football schedule. They will resume play on Wednesday after taking last week off. We've got our scoring and three-point leaders current coming into the state tournament. So all of that in the print edition, the March 19th print edition of Main Street Maury. Online this week, again, we will have coverage of both Santa Fe and Independence from the state tournaments over in Murfreesboro. We'll have some spring sports coverage, some Battle Creek baseball. We've also got the Mid-State Classic that took place on Tuesday, results and pictures from that. So all of that will be online at mainstreetmaury.com. All of that will be in print next week in Main Street Maury. Be sure and pick it up. I'm Maurice Patton, sports editor at Main Street Maury. We'll see y'all next week.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Welcome to the Omni Nashville Hotel. Urban elegance with a vintage touch. Our 800-room hotel opened up in the fall of 2013 with 746 guest rooms and 54 suites.
So Busy Bee is a very close-knit family. We fight just like every family does. We have arguments, but we always come out with a solution to the problems. We don't just fight about what we want, we fight about what customers need. We want to make sure that every customer we go to is more than satisfied. And that doesn't just start whenever we show up at their door, that starts when we show up every day at work. We want to make sure that we are serving our customers to the best of our ability.
He shoots and he scores!
Welcomed with some good old-fashioned Southern hospitality. We'll give you a hand, cheer you on. Hey, We'll even leave a light on.
So, you want to be a part of the Busy Bee team, huh? Well, how do you see yourself fitting into the organization? Oh, I get it. You want to be a weather bee.
The Pulaski Citizen Wrap starts this week with our Citizen Spotlight, Brian Flowers, whose photo graces the spot of honor right there at the top and center of the front page. Also on page 1, we have a recap of the storms and flooding and the local efforts to rescue people who were in peril over the weekend. The answer to a lot of the problems these people faced is right there in the headline: turn around and don't drown. Don't try to drive into water that's right across the road. It's pretty simple. They've started tearing down the old Merco Ogenesco building, and we've got photos of the raising of an icon that has served Pulaski for, I believe, about 80 years. The Pulaski Board of Mayor and Aldermen approved an ordinance concerning short-term rentals, and they welcomed a familiar face as a new police officer, so welcome to Terrell Randolph. Finally, on the front page is the first sign of work on the Giles County Courthouse as the south end doors have been removed and plywood put in their place temporarily. Inside, PES Power Board discussed an already planned rate increase at its last meeting. Ardmore's Board of Mayor and Aldermen approved funding needed to get the city park ready for spring baseball. Linville has an Easter egg hunt scheduled for April 12th, and other Board of Mayor and Aldermen information there in that article. The Danticleer is all about stuff, and Margaret tells us what we all know. Everyone loves a good biscuit, and she goes a little bit further to share a couple of really good biscuit recipes. Stanley is our Giles County Humane Association Pet Corner Pet of the Week. And CB Outreach in Pulaski received a $4,000 partnership grant from Decatur's Barnhart Crane. And as always, Pulaski Citizen has obituary notices, court docket, property transfers, government public notices, backward glances, funny games, church directory, community briefs, Tennessee Valley weather, and church briefs. We've got all that, and we've got sports. Don't forget the Richland Lady Raiders were in the state tournament last week. So let's go to Wade and find out what happened with all of that.
What's up, folks? Wade Neely here, sports editor at the Pulaski Citizen. Time now for a look at what's in print and what's online for the March 19th edition of the Pulaski Citizen Sports page. The Richland Lady Raiders, a historic run that falls just shy as Richland is eliminated in Murfreesboro in the state semifinals. We have wall-to-wall coverage of Richland making their run, their first state tournament trip since 1993. They picked up their first state tournament victory since 1986. But it was not meant to be, as Richland ran into really the one opponent that maybe was best equipped to knock them out Friday in the state semifinals, Greenfield. Greenfield, a mirror image in many regards of the Richland Lady Raiders, and they knock off Richland 47-40 in the state semifinals. Greenfield goes on to win the state championship Saturday, as Richland again has to settle for second place. But make sure you check that out. Special thank you to our photographers, Joel Robinson, as well as Becky Russell. They've been shooting Richland for us all year, but man, they really brought their A game live and in concert at the Murphy Center to bring you all of the action. And what action it was. The action wasn't just limited on the hardwood. Make sure you check out some of our photos that Joel and Becky got this week of the crowds as the Richland faithful showed up in droves on both Wednesday and Friday to support their Lady Raiders. And again, hats off to head coach Chad Hall and the ladies on that historic run. Meanwhile, the Richland boys, it was heartbreak for the Raiders in the sectionals as they fall to a familiar opponent themselves, 49-43, falling to Wayne County in their Class A sectional last Monday. Hard to beat a team 3 times, and unfortunately that played out in the biggest stage for Richland. They finished the year 21-10, had a heck of a run, had a great postseason, and again, got back to the sectionals, finishing painfully shy of advancing to Murfreesboro and this week's state tournament. Cade McCormick was your hero in that loss to Wayne County as he gave Richland a lead by 1 with 90 seconds to play and then immediately fouled out. It was a cruel twist of fate as McCormick flushes home the dunk and then fouls out less than 20 seconds later as Wayne County goes on to preserve the victory. So it's Raiders, and more Raiders. We also have a special section where a lot of our local businesses wanted to make sure they paid their respects to the Richland Lady Raiders. So check all that out. We give you a full team shout out, and we talk about Shelby Higgins and her all-state performance in that special section as well. So make sure that you pick up a copy and read about Richland. What a historic run it was for the ladies in Murfreesboro, and a tough end for the boys in sectionals. So Richland coverage this week. We're right back into the thick of things with spring sports coming up this week, both here locally with Giles County and Richland, as well as UT Southern. We've got you covered wall to wall in print, but a reminder, if you missed any of it, you can catch it online at PulaskiCitizen.com. Wade Neely saying so long for now, and we'll see you next time.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily, as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Welcome to the Omni Nashville Hotel. Urban elegance with a vintage touch. Our 800-room hotel opened up in the fall of 2013 with 746 guest rooms and 54 suites.
So Busy Bee is a very close-knit family. We fight just like every family does. We have arguments, but we always come out with a solution to the problems. We don't just fight about what we want, we fight about what customers need. We want to make sure that every customer we go to is more than satisfied. And that doesn't just start whenever we show up at their door, that starts when we show up every day at work. We want to make sure that we are serving our customers to the best of our ability.
Only in Smashville are opponents welcomed with some good old-fashioned Southern hospitality. We'll give you a hand, cheer you on.
You suck! It's all your fault!
Hey, we'll even leave a light on.
So, you want to be a part of the Busy Bee team, huh? Well, how do you see yourself fitting into the organization? Oh, I get it. You want to be a weather bee.
The Lawrence County Advocate starts this week with information from the Chamber of Commerce for the annual State of the County event, and that this year that's going to be at Crockett Theater. March 11th was a busy day for the Lawrence County Fire and Rescue, and we've got a front page photo just of one of their calls on that day. Also on page 1, 2 Lawrence Countyans are observing 100 years and more in March, and we always want to honor our Lawrence Countyans who have reached those milestones, and happy birthday to both of those wonderful ladies. The Lawrence County School System and Columbia State Community College have agreed to new program for aspiring educators. And finally, on the front page, charges have been filed in connection with a fire that was over on Brush Creek Road. Inside, a man was killed in Summertown last week in a crash. STRHS Lawrenceburg challenges us to put our best foot forward. Online pre-K and kindergarten registration is coming next week for Lawrence County schools. The Study Club of Lawrenceburg recently celebrated their 90th anniversary. Congratulations, guys. Tennessee Valley Allergy Services has opened in Lawrenceburg. See the article and their ad right there on the same page inside this week. March 29th is Household Hazardous Waste Collections Week. Henry's Corner features the country store this week. Neil Beard keeps his travels in Lawrence County with a look at improvements at the H.C. Edwards Senior Veterans Park. Local Girl Scouts celebrated Girl Scout Sunday. A Summertown Columbia State student finished second in a pre-apprentice line worker mini rodeo that was held by their school. Rotary recently hosted the Lawrence County Public Health Director. Kids Place representatives received a check from the Cupcakes for Child Advocacy fundraiser. Fuchsia is our doggy house pet of the week. And as always, Lawrence County Advocate has local obituaries, local community announcements, government notices, auctions and estate sales, the forecast from the Tennessee Valley weather. We're back to 2 pages of puzzles and comics. Don't forget that. And the local church directory. In sports, last week was exciting to say the least as the Loretto Lady Mustangs won their first state tournament game, their quarterfinal game against McMinn Central, and then they fell in the semifinal to Westview. Westview actually went on to win the Class 2A Girls State Championship. And, of course, Summertown made their way to Murfreesboro as well, and they lost their quarterfinal game to Gatlinburg-Pittman. We've got coverage of all the local action from Murfreesboro last week, complete with photographs. This week, the Advocate joins up with local businesses to congratulate the Lady Mustangs, the Lady Eagles, and the Loretto Boys for reaching the Elite Eight of their respective classifications this year, with pages of celebration for all 3 in this week's newspaper. That also brings us to the Loretto Mustangs, who start their state tournament today, this afternoon, at 4 o'clock in Murfreesboro, and best of luck to the Mustangs. Spring sports is also underway, and we've got articles from Lakeisha Oliver of Summertown baseball, softball, and tennis, and we also have an article from A.J. Good on Lawrenceburg baseball. Also in sports this week, Lawrence County cheerleader Atlee Emerson signed with Austin Peay, and we also have the Alabama-Tennessee Bass Club taking on Pickwick Lake recently. Again, don't forget that voting is underway for the 2025 Main Street Awards in Lawrence County. See the ad in this week's paper or visit lawrencecountyadvocate.net for more information. And that's it this week for Lawrence County Advocate. We'll be right back after this.
From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is your weather on Main Street.
Happy Wednesday. I'm Kelly Rawson in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center. We say goodbye to sunshine and hello to a little bit more clouds for today. Temperatures, though, about as warm as yesterday, upper 50s, or I should say upper 60s to lower 70s. By afternoon, it will be very breezy across southern middle Tennessee today, gusts up to 30 to 40 miles an hour. Throughout the day, that's ahead of our next rain chance with a cold front, bringing us showers and maybe a few thunder showers by this evening. By about 2 o'clock, things still looking dry, but very, very gusty. Again, temperatures in the upper 60s to lower 70s. Here comes that thunder shower chance scattered in nature. Those will move through by about 6 to 8 p.m. for tonight, and then we clear things out heading into your Thursday. Maybe some leftover moisture. Temperatures probably be a few degrees warmer than this. I'm thinking upper 30s to 40s for your Thursday. Maybe a lingering sprinkle, maybe a flurry mixed in. No impacts expected, though, by any means. So thunder showers for this evening. Temperatures significantly cooler for your Thursday thanks to that cold front moving through. Will be a little bit breezy as well with a northerly wind keeping us on the cool side. Temperatures in the upper 40s at warmest for your Thursday, but we are back to the 60s by your Friday. As we say, mostly dry, maybe a stray shower overnight Friday. Saturday, looking partly to mostly cloudy. A thunderstorm chance arrives once again for the Tennessee Valley by Sunday.
Hey, that's it for this week's Morning on Main Street, Southern Middle Tennessee. Make sure to get your copy of your local newspaper online or through traditional newspaper so that you don't miss a minute of all the local coverage that we have for you. For more information on subscribing to any of our newspapers, there's really one place you can go and get it all. That's mainstreetmediatn.com. mainstreetmediatn.com. And again, thank you for trusting us as your source for local news, sports, information, and more. And good Lord willing, we're going to be right back here next week.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Welcome to the Omni Nashville Hotel. Urban elegance with a vintage touch. Our 800-room hotel opened up in the fall of 2013 with 746 guest rooms and 54 suites.
So Busy Bee is a very close-knit family. We fight just like every family does. We have arguments, but we always come out with a solution to the problems. We don't just fight about what we want, we fight about what customers need. We want to make sure that every customer we go to is more than satisfied. And that doesn't just start whenever we show up at their door, that starts when we show up every day at work. We want to make sure that we are serving our customers to the best of our ability.
Only in Smashville are opponents welcomed with some good old-fashioned Southern hospitality. We'll give you a hand, cheer you on.
You suck! It's all your fault!
Hey, we'll even leave a light on.
So, you want to be a part of the Busy Bee team, huh? Well, how do you see yourself fitting into the organization? Oh, I get it. You want to be a weather bee.